Welcome everyone to today's Sunday class on the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is my great honor and privilege to be able to speak from this ecstatic literature, and I beg the mercy of all the assembled Vaishnavas present here today and Vaishnavis and online also, so that I could speak something worthy of this Grantaraj great text. So we continue reading from the Madhya Leela, chapter number 8, chapter entitled The Talks Between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. So it's our tradition that we generally speak on that verse which has a purport. So from text number 277 to 281, there's no purport. So I'll recite that, and then when we get to 282, we can do that together. Okay? Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So reading from text 277. Radha Krishna Tomara Maha Premahaya Yahantahan Radha Krishna Tomare Spuraya. Translation. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, My dear Raya, you are an advanced devotee and are always filled with ecstatic love for Radha and Krishna. Therefore, whatever you see, anywhere and everywhere, simply awakens your Krishna consciousness. Text 278. Raya kahe Prabhu tumi chada bhari bhuri Mora hage nija rupa na kariya kuri. Ramananda Rai replied, My dear Lord, please give up all these serious talks. Please do not conceal your real form from me. Text 279. Radhikara bhava kanti kari angikara Nija rasa ashvadite kariyacha avatara. Ramananda Rai continued, My dear Lord, I can understand that you have assumed the ecstasy and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. By accepting this, you are tasting your own personal transcendental humor and have therefore appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 280. Nija Guda Karya Tumara Prema Ashvadhana Anusange Prema Maya Kaila Tribhuvana. My dear Lord, you have descended in this incarnation of Lord Chaitanya for your own personal reasons. You have come to taste your own spiritual bliss, and at the same time you are transforming the whole world by spreading the ecstasy of love of Godhead. To text 281. Apane haila more karite udhara eba kapata kara tomara kona vyavahara. My dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, you have appeared before me to grant me liberation. Now you are playing in a duplicitous way. What is the reason for this behavior? So today's verse, text 282 on the board. Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa. Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa. Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Tabe hashi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa. Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Prabhu's.
Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa.
Tabe haila tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa.
Rasa Raja Mahabhava duye karupa.
Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa.
Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa.
Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa. Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa.
Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa.
Tabe hashi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa.
Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa.
Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa.
Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa.
Tabe hashi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa.
Rasa Raja Mahabhava duye karupa.
Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Mataji. Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa. Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa. Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Tabe hasi tanre Prabhu dekhaila swarupa. Rasa Raja Mahabhava Dui Ekarupa. Tabe, therefore, hasi, smiling, Thandre, unto him Ramananda Rai, Prabhu, the Lord, Dekhaila, showed, Swarupa, his personal form, Rasa Raja, the king of all transcendental humours, Mahabhava, the condition of ecstatic love, Dui, two, Eka, one, Rupa, form. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki. Lord Shri Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, and Srimati Radharani is the personification of ecstatic love of Godhead. These two forms have combined as one in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This being the case, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his real form to Ramananda Rai. Purport. This is described as Radha Bhava Jyoti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Lord Shri Krishna was absorbed in the features of Srimati Radharani. This was disclosed to Ramananda Rai when he saw Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. An advanced devotee can understand Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being a combination of Radha and Krishna, is non-different from Radha Krishna combined. This is explained by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Radha Krishna pranaya vrikrite ladhini shakti asmad. Ekat manav api bhuvi bhure deha bedam gatotu. Chaitanyakyam prakatam haduna tadvayam chaikyam aptam. Radha bhava duty suvalitam naumi Krishna swarupam. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 1.5. Radha Krishna is one. Radha Krishna is Krishna and Krishna's pleasure potency combined. When Krishna exhibits his pleasure potency, he appears to be two, Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, Radha and Krishna are one. This oneness may be perceived by advanced devotees through the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was the case with Ramananda Rai. One may aspire to attain such a position, but one should not try to imitate the Mahabhagavats. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutan Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshyatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, this beautiful conversation or talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai has been taking place for some time, and we have been progressing to higher and higher stages of consciousness and realization. So the whole conversation starts off with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asking Ramananda Rai, please tell me what is the ultimate goal of life, and do so by substantiating your statements with references to the Shastra. And this is what Ramananda Rai has done throughout. And as Premanava Prabhu explained yesterday, in the last few verses, from around 267, the situation changes. So prior to this, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took the position of a student, asking the questions, and Ramananda Rai took the position of the teacher, answering the questions. Actually, Ramananda Rai didn't want to do that, but he understood that the Lord wanted to use him as an instrument. So he said, okay, I'm just your puppet. You are going to make me vibrate and speak, but I'll speak as you wanted me to speak. But recently, from I think text 267, the situation changes. Ramananda Rai now starts to ask the question, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks. And Ramananda Rai says to the Lord, I have a doubt. And I need you, my Lord, to address this doubt. Please be merciful to me and remove my doubt. So those who are following, can you all remember? What is the doubt in Ramananda Rai's mind? That he's petitioning Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to answer. Sort of. Anyway, so Ramananda Rai says to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are a sannyasi, but every time I look at you, I see you in a blackish form playing a flute. And I can't understand this. Can you please explain to me what is going on here? So this is his doubt. He puts in front of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please remove this. And he says, do it in a way that is not duplicitous. And he uses a particular word here. I can't find it right now. But anyway, he says, please, don't be duplicitous. Please answer this question. So how does Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answer? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that's not too difficult to understand. You are a Mahabhagavat. And a Mahabhagavat, wherever he looks, he sees Krishna everywhere. And last week's Sunday's program, Govinda Prabhu was explaining, and we started off with text 277, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is continuing. He says, my dear Raya, you are an advanced devotee and are always filled with ecstatic love for Radha and Krishna. Therefore, whatever you see anywhere and everywhere simply awakens your Krishna consciousness. Now, this is a very true statement. That wherever a pure devotee looks, he only sees Krishna. And last week we had some very interesting discussion about how this actually happens. Once Srila Prabhupada was walking through a park with his disciple Upendra. And Upendra turns to Prabhupada and says, Swamiji, what does a pure devotee see when he walks through the park? Does he see a Krishna in the branch? Does he see a Krishna in each leaf? Does he see Krishna everywhere? Is that what he sees? Prabhupada laughed. Oh, no, it's not like that. Then he pointed to his glasses. He says, Upendra, what is this? That's your glasses, Swamiji. Upendra, what is this? That's your stick, Swamiji. Upendra, what is this? That's your shoes, Swamiji. And Prabhupada said, yes, like that. He says, if you see my eyeglasses, if you see my stick, and if you see one shoes of mine somewhere, what's the first thing go through your mind? I think of you, Swamiji. And Prabhupada said, it's like that. Just like a mother she'll see the little shoes of the child. And when you see the shoes, the child may be gone to school. Oh, she's just filled with thoughts of the child. She'll pick up the cloth of the child. Oh, my child's clothes. And she's just absorbed in thought. So in the same way, the pure devotees, they think like that. And we see it both in the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came as a devotee, and also in the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was residing in Jagannath Puri. And sometimes he would walk along the beach. And in the beach, there would be huge sand dunes that formed due to the wind. And those sand dunes, they were called Chatak Parvat. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would see their sand dunes and he would run towards the dunes, feeling great separation and tears pouring from his eyes. And he was seeing them as Govardhan Hill. And then he would see the ocean, the sun shining on the ocean, glistening. And it would look just like the river Yamuna. And he would run into the ocean, full of ecstasy, and he would fall unconscious. He was seeing Vrindavan everywhere. And we see this in the life of all the pure devotees. Hiranyakashipur asked Prahlad Maharaj, "Where is your Lord? Is he in this pillar?" "Yes, he is in this pillar." And he was in the pillar. And Srila Prabhupada, he would go to the Pacific Ocean and he would tell the devotees, "Can you hear that?" And the devotees would listen and they could hear the waves coming. And Prabhupada would say, "You know what this sound? It's like the heart of the gopis beating in separation from Krishna." And Prabhupada would see Krishna everywhere. He would walk on the street. He'll pass a car called Thunderbird. And he'll say to the devotees, "What is that car?" They'll say, "Thunderbird, Prabhupada." "Have you heard of a Thunderbird?" No. We don't know what is a Thunderbird." He said, "We have a Thunderbird. It's called a Chatak. This bird, Chatak, it will never drink water from any other source but the rain cloud. It'll open its beak and wait, and only when the water falls from the cloud will it drink." Same like that. We devotees, we only take mercy from Krishna. Then he would walk. You'll see a factory written there. We produce, or unalloyed steel. And Prabhupada says, "What is that? Unalloyed steel." "Oh, unalloyed steel, Prabhupada, it means steel that's not mixed with any other elements. It's pure steel." And Prabhupada says, "Yes, they are advertising unalloyed steel, and we are advertising unalloyed devotion." So the pure devotees, and you see this throughout Srila Prabhupada's life, wherever they go, they see Krishna everywhere. But there's different intensities. Like the aunt may see the shoes of the child, and the aunt may have some sentiments of the nephew or someone. But the mother, when the mother sees, the mother's intensity of love and remembrance is far stronger. So in the same way, depending on our level of advancement, we see and we connect things with Krishna in different ways. The intensity is different. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying that the Mahabhagavat, he sees Krishna everywhere and he's remembered. So when you look at me and you're seeing Krishna in a blackish form, that's understandable. You're a Mahabhagavat. Ramananda Rai was not buying that. You are being duplicitous, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. And he uses the word kapat. Kapat. That means you are being deceitful. So how was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being deceitful here? He was speaking in a very general way. He was not revealing the truth. And Ramananda Rai, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda Ki Jai. So Ramananda Rai, he was not accepting this. He says, now you are playing in a duplicitous way. What is the reason for this behavior? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could not hide from his devotee anymore. And that's when he revealed for the first time this most magnificent revelation. The first and only time. Previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had also revealed his divine identity to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But in that revelation, first he showed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya his four-handed Vishnu form. Then he showed his form as Krishna. And then I understand he also showed his Sadbhuj form. But he never showed that he was Radha and Krishna. So for the first time in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're having Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveal his identity as the combination of Radha and Krishna. So this is a momentous verse, a really momentous verse. And when Ramananda Rai sees this, he faints. He faints. So, in the verse, it's interesting, it doesn't say that he revealed his form as Radha and Krishna, but it says he revealed his form as Rasaraj. As Rasaraj. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about Radha and Krishna are one. Radha and Krishna are one. And Srila Prabhupada explains that this is a very difficult principle to understand. Only if one is very advanced can one understand this. But Srila Prabhupada is very kind. Prabhupada has explained this oneness. Firstly, let's maybe just talk a bit about why that one became two. And so we understand that the one became two because he wanted to experience pleasure. Krishna is known as a Rasa Raj. Rasa means mellows, and Raj means king. So he's the king of relishing all types of rasas. 12 rasas in particular. Therefore he is known as Rasa Raj. So the understanding is, and Prabhupada explains this, that Krishna's only business is to play. But how much can you enjoy when you play alone? Limited, isn't it? To play, you need people to play with. So Krishna, wanting to enjoy more and more rasas, he expands himself through his pleasure potency, Srimati Radharani. And through Srimati Radharani, who is his Alladini Shakti, his pleasure potency, Krishna experiences all types of rasas. Actually, in the Mangala Charanam of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the very first verse, Srila Rupa Goswami writes, Akila Rasamrita Murti. he addresses Krishna as Akila Rasamrita Murti, meaning that Krishna's entire form is comprised of rasa. That's the nature of Krishna. He constantly wants to enjoy rasas. But there is one type of rasa that he can't enjoy. And that is bhakti rasa. In the 12th canto, 9th chapter, there's a very interesting incident that takes place with Markandeya Rishi. So Markandeya Rishi, he goes to the Lord in his form of Narayan. And he makes a very unusual request to the Lord. He says, Lord, I want to have the vision and understanding of your external potency. Strange request, isn't it? The Lord says, okay, fine. So the Lord departs to Badrik Ashram and he says, so be it. You will see a manifestation of this external potency. So Markandeya Rishi is sitting on the banks of the Pushpa Bhadra river, and suddenly the rains of devastation come. And where he's sitting is completely inundated. The entire planet gets inundated. And here is Markandeya Rishi having this vision of the external potency, the time of destruction, and he's trying to figure out what's going on here. And for millions of years, he's moving around in this ocean of devastation. The entire planet, the entire universe is covered. And then finally, he sees a banyan tree pop out in this ocean. And in this banyan tree, he sees one branch, and on one branch, there is a leaf with an infant sitting there. And this infant, he totally matches the description of Lord Krishna. And what is he doing? He's sucking his toe. He's sitting on his leaf and he's sucking his toe. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he sort of paraphrases what's going on here. So someone asks this infant, who is Krishna, why are you sucking your toe? And Krishna says, you know, my devotees are always saying how sweet my lotus feet is. So I want to get a taste of that sweetness myself. So that's why I'm sucking my toe. So this bhakti ras, this is a ras, it's only accessible to the devotees. But the Lord wants to get the taste for it, because he's saying these devotees, they are really relishing it. And therefore he comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But getting back to this point of oneness, Radha and Krishna are one. How can we understand it? As Srila Prabhupada says, it's very difficult to understand. But in the introduction to the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada gives some very wonderful explanations about how that one became two. And Prabhupada says, we have Krishna, he's the energetic. And we have Radharani, who is the energy. Shakti and Shakti Mam. So, can we speak of the energetic without speaking of the energy? No, we can't. And then Prabhupada gives an example. He says, just like the sun. We have the sun and we have the sunshine. Can we speak about the sun without speaking about the sunshine? No, you can't. Can you speak about the sunshine without speaking about the sun? No, you can't. Because they both go together. You cannot speak of either of the two, the energy and the energetic. So in the same way, Krishna is the energetic, the sun, and Radharani is the energy, like the sunshine. They are inseparable. They are one. And then Srila Prabhupada answers another question, which comes in our mind. And maybe I'll just read out to you, because Srila Prabhupada expresses it so nicely. So Prabhupada says, Radha and Krishna are one. And when Krishna desires to enjoy pleasure, he manifests himself as Radharani. The spiritual exchange of love between Radha and Krishna is the actual display of Krishna's internal pleasure potency. Now Srila Prabhupada explains a very important point. Because when we speak about one becoming two, we may think that Radharani didn't exist at some point. She manifested. Isn't it sometimes because of our conditioning, the way we raised? Prabhupada says, although when we speak of when Krishna desires, just when he desired, we cannot say. We only speak in this way because in conditioned life, we take it that everything has a beginning. However, in spiritual life, everything is absolute. And so there is neither beginning nor end. Yet, in order to understand that Radha and Krishna are one, and that they also become divided, the question when automatically comes to mind. When Krishna desired to enjoy his pleasure potency, he manifested himself in the separate form of Radharani. And when he wanted to understand himself through the agency of Radha, he united with Radharani. And that unification is called Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Does that make sense? So this question of when we speak one became two, that is only because of our conditioned state. But Radharani is existing eternally. And Krishna. So for a conditioned person, it's difficult to get their head around. Now coming back to this point of oneness. Ramananda Rai also explained this oneness in another way earlier on in this chapter, when he explained the concept of prema, vivarasta, vilasini. You all remember that? That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling Ramananda Rai, go higher, go higher, go higher. And Ramananda Rai had come to Madhurya Ras, and then he came to Srimati Radharani, and he'd explained everything about Srimati Radharani. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was still saying, is there anything more? If there's something more, please tell. And then Ramananda Rai was a little shy, because this was something he had composed himself. Prema Vivarta Vilasini. He said, my Lord, if you don't mind, I'll just speak about this. And this is very interesting what he spoke about. What is this Prema Vivarta Vilasini? So he explained that we have Prema. Generally we feel that Prema is the highest stage of love of Godhead. In Vaikuntha, yes, it is the highest stage. But in Goloka Vrindavan, there's higher stages of Prema. Higher than Prema is Sneha. Higher than Sneha is Man. Higher than Man is Pranaya. Higher than Pranaya is Rag. Higher than Rag is Anurag. Higher than Anurag is Bhav. And higher than Mahabhav is Mahabhav. And Prabhupada compares this like you get the sugarcane seed. And from the sugarcane seed, you get the sugarcane. And from the sugarcane, you get the sugarcane juice. And when you boil the sugarcane juice, you get liquid molasses. And when you further condense the liquid molasses, you get solid molasses. And when that becomes even more condensed, you get sugar. And when sugar combines, you get candy. And then you get rock candy. And then you get lozenge. So this is the highest stages. Prema, sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag, bhava, and mahabhava. And Ramananda Rai explains that Radharani, she is the main object of love. There is no higher object of love. And Krishna, his sweetness is the main subject of love. And no one can bring out Krishna's sweetness as well as Srimati Radharani. So Srila Rupa Goswami explains that there's an interesting dynamic here. When Krishna sees Radharani's love, it sublimates his sweetness increases. And when his sweetness increases, it sublimates Radharani's love, and her love increases. And when her love increases, it sublimates his sweetness. And then there's this transcendental race going on between the love and the sweetness, to the point where it reaches a crescendo where there's no distinction between the object and the subject anymore. The object of love, and it all becomes one. And that is the stage of Mahabhav. That's the stage of Mahabhav. It's the highest. So this verse says, Rasaraj Mahabhav. Krishna is Rasaraj, and Srimati Radharani is Mahabhav. So at that stage where there's increasing and there's a complete dissolution of object and subject, that is called Prema Vivarta Vilasini. And that's oneness. So that's the oneness. Well, I'm just speaking theoretically. Prabhupada says here very clearly, only a Mahabhagavat can understand this. So I'm just repeating what I've read from a theoretical perspective. That is the oneness being described here. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this form of Radha and Krishna combined, so that one became two, and the two becomes one again in this form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Once the devotees during Srila Prabhupada's time, they were occupying an apartment in Kolkata. And the landlord of this apartment was Mr. Rai. So one day, Srila Prabhupada's disciple Achyutananda went to see Mr. Rai. And they were talking about Radha and Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mr. Rai said, you have milk and you have sugar. When you combine milk and sugar, you get rasagola. Rasagola is sweeter and higher than milk and sugar. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is highest. He's higher, and he comes first. So Achyutananda was a bit confused. This didn't sit very comfortably with what Srila Prabhupada spoke. So he went to Srila Prabhupada, and he said, Srila Prabhupada, Mr. Rai said like this, you have milk, and you have sugar, and you combine milk and sugar, you get rasagola. And rasagola is better than milk and sugar separately. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the highest. Is this true? Interesting question, isn't it? So Srila Prabhupada says, no. He says, just like you get milk and sugar came first. And then the rasagola came. So first there was Radha and Krishna. And then there was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Achyutananda sort of accepted that, but he wanted to push it a little more. But he said, Srila Prabhupada, but who's higher? Who's the highest? And Srila Prabhupada said, he turned around and he looked. And on the wall there was a picture frame. And in that picture frame, there was a picture of Radharani sitting down and Krishna putting his head on her feet. And Prabhupada looked at that picture frame and he said, Srimati Radharani is the highest. She's the highest. Actually, there was one story my Guru Maharaj said when he said the story. My Guru Maharaj is Holiness Giriraj Swami. He said, the great Vaishnava poet Jayadev Goswami, once he was writing his poems. And he was writing his poems and he could have the vision of Radha and Krishna. So while he was writing this poem, this vision of Radha, Krishna going and bowing down and putting his head on Radharani's feet came. And this bewildered him. He said, Krishna putting his head on Radharani's feet. I just can't get my head around this. So he couldn't write anymore. So he put his pen down. He said, I need to take a break. This is what I've seen in this vision. I just can't write it down. So he went away to take his bath, or he went away. So while he was gone away, his wife Padma was at home. And very shortly, Jayadev came back. And he says, Padma, I've got to finish my writing. So he went and he wrote this whole verse about Srimati Radharani, Lord Krishna putting his feet on the head of Srimati Radharani. And he finished the verse and he went away. And after some time, Jayadev came back. And he says his wife, Padma, I'm back. I'll have my prasadam. She's saying, what do you mean you were back? You just came now and you wrote and then you went away. He said, no, I didn't come, I was gone. She said, no, you came, you wrote, and you wrote this verse here. You wrote this verse. And he said, okay, show me what verse. And he went and he looked and he saw that verse was written. Krishna putting his head at the feet of Srimati Radharani. And then he understood. It's true. Srimati Radharani is the highest. Srimati Radharani is the highest. So this is very, very difficult to understand. But Srila Prabhupada explains in one statement in the Nectar of Instruction. Srila Prabhupada says that the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is to give us the opportunity to enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. This is what all ISKCON is all about. ISKCON is all about us being given the opportunity to enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But how does that happen? How do we, insignificant jivas, in such a conditioned state, get to enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna? I wanted to read one verse from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter number 25. Because I found this very insightful in terms of this particular question. How do we move from, very neophyte sadhakas towards entering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna? So this is from a chapter entitled "The Residents of Varanasi Become Vaishnavas," and before this verse, it is said, Ihara prasade paiba Krishna tatvasara sarva shastra siddhantera hiyan paiba para. By understanding the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can understand the truth about Krishna. By understanding Krishna, one can understand the limit of all knowledge described in various revealed scriptures. And then I come to this verse, which I wanted to talk about and read the purport. Text 271. The pastimes of Lord Krishna are the essence of all nectar, and that nectar is flowing in hundreds of rivers in all directions. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are an eternal reservoir, and one is advised to let his mind swim like a swan on this transcendental lake. What a beautiful metaphor used by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He's saying one is advised to let his mind swim like a swan on this transcendental lake. So I'll read the purport. This purport is really very, very amazing. The essence of spiritual knowledge is found in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which are identical with the pastimes of Krishna. So first statement, very profound statement. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical with the pastimes of Krishna. Very profound statement. This is the essence of knowledge. If knowledge does not include the understanding of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna, it is simply superfluous. That means if we try to understand Krishna without Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's superfluous. If we try to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without understanding Krishna, it's superfluous. We have to understand them together. By Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace, the nectar of Lord Shri Krishna's pastimes is flowing in different directions, in hundreds and thousands of rivers. One should not think that the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are different from the pastimes of Krishna, are different from Krishna's pastimes. It is said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Hanya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a combination of Radha and Krishna. Thus, without understanding the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one cannot understand Radha and Krishna. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore sings Rupa Raghunatha Pade Pabe Hoituki Aikuti Taba Hama Bujapa Ye Yugala Priti. When shall I become very eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis? So what is being said here is quite profound. That if we want to enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, we must enter into the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada said something very significant in his writings. He said that the current ISKCON movement is a continuation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. What's happening in ISKCON now is the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are getting the opportunity to engage in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is non-different from Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada talks about the Goswamis. This is very important. Srinivas Acharya has written one very nice song called Sat Goswami Astakam. And the second stanza he sings, Nana Shastra Vicharaneka Nipano Sadharma Samstapako Lokanamita Karino Tribhuvane Manya Sharanya Karo Radha Krishna Padara Vinda Bhajana Nande Namataliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujago Sri Jiva Gopalako. So he says, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, you are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Nana Shastra Vicharaneka Nipano Sadharma Samstapako. That they have distilled the essence of all scriptures into one dharma. Radha Krishna Padhara Vinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko. That they have taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And it is explained that just like at the beginning of creation, the Lord imparted within the heart of Lord Brahma the entire Vedic knowledge. In the same way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imparted within the heart of Rupa Goswami the entire science of bhakti. So in the writings of the Goswamis, we find the proper understanding of who is Radha and Krishna. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, the proper way is to enter the pastimes of Radha and Krishna through the spiritual master, who is the representative of the Goswamis, through the parampara, through the Goswamis, through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And thus we will enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, we dive into the pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we go down. And when you dive, you have to surface at some point. And when we surface in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. This is the process of understanding who Radha and Krishna is, who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We dive in this movement that Srila Prabhupada has given us by engaging in the Sankirtan mission. And this is how we get access. So I've spoken a lot. There's so much more to say on this beautiful topic, on this beautiful verse. But I'll stop here and I'll take any questions, comments, reflections, or even corrections that anyone may have. Hare Krishna. Yes, Coco. After the Prabhupada, she'll come here. Yeah, she's there. Put it on, press the button. Okay. Okay, you can ask. I can hear and I'll repeat for those online. Well, this is what Srila Prabhupada is saying in his books and his purports. That's through the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the parampara and the spiritual master, it is possible. It is possible. By the mercy of, what's the verse now? I just forgot. The lame can climb mountains. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam lakente kirim yat kripatam aham vande Sri Gurum dinataranam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, the lame can climb mountains, and the dumb can speak eloquent words. So Prabhupada says that this is a special mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no qualifications one needs. We can be Nitya Bhada. And a Nitya Bhada Jiva can enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his representatives. It's something completely extraordinary. Can't explain it, it's just causeless mercy. But that's the situation we find ourselves in. We have access to the highest, the topmost, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his representative.
Can I ask another? Sorry. Just that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he's also in the spiritual world, right? He has his own.
Yes, in the spiritual world there are sections. The sweetness section is Krishna in Vrindavan, and the Audarya section, which is munificence, magnanimity, that's Navadvip. So in Goloka Vrindavan, there's two sections. Pastimes are going on between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are going on there, and Krishna's pastimes are going. So Navadvip pastimes and Vrindavan pastimes, all taking place at the same time in that region.
So, was he already manifested before he came to earth? Like, why does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu need to come to earth to perform his pastimes?
Well, the verse before this said there's two reasons he came. One is to experience the love of Srimati Radharani. In earth, you get that bhakti, the devotional services of a special nature. And then secondly is to propagate the Sankirtan movement. That's the two reasons, the external reason and the internal reason that he manifested.
So the rasa is different when you're on earth, like you taste it differently than in spiritual.
Yeah, some people say it's different. There's something very special about that rasa in this material world. Anyway, I won't go into that. Prayojan Prabhu, you had a question or a comment?
It occurs to me that there was a letter to Mataji Sardiya talking about those devotees that come back to the material world to serve Krishna in his pastimes, like Arjuna, Queen Kunti, and he mentioned some other one, I can't remember who. But that somehow, and it comes back to that verse, all I want is your causeless service, birth after birth. Now, it seems to me that actually their ecstasy is one of complete sacrifice of themselves, but experiencing what appears to be bewilderment and suffering, and I just wonder that's a pretty high state, isn't it? That they come back to experience this world and be bewildered by Krishna and suffer for Krishna. I don't know, any comments really on that? It's just
can I say something about that? Like we know when Krishna comes down, all his associates come down. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes down, his associates come down, like Ramananda Rai is Vishakha, Swarab Damodar is Lalita, and Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. So you were talking about the Pandavas suffering. When Lord's associates come down with him, it seems that they're going under suffering. But that's not suffering. From our perspective, we may see it as suffering. But from their perspective, it is just bliss. Like recently we were reading the teachings of Queen Kunti, and Queen Kunti says, bring on the suffering, because by the suffering, I remember you more, and that's my bliss. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he calls the suffering love bites. He says sometimes there's lovers, and one lover bites the other one, and you get a mark. But someone may say, oh, that's a bite. No, that's a love bite. So, when you see the devotee so-called suffering, that's not suffering. That's something else. Hare Krishna. Yes, Divyanam Prabhu.
Thank you, Vinavanjan Prabhu, for outstanding class as always. I just wanted to read the stanza and the translation about the point as a reflection. You mentioned that how by taking part in the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are directly taking part in the pastimes of Shri Radha and Krishna. This is from this beautiful bhajan called the Gaurangera Duti Pada, sung by Narottam Das Thakur, where in the last stanza it is mentioned, I'll just read the translation, keeping the time in mind, that if one says, let me dive deep into the waves of the nectarian ocean of the transcendental loving movement introduced by Lord Chaitanya, he immediately becomes one of the confidential devotees of Radha and Krishna. It does not matter whether one is a householder living at home or a vanaprastha or a sannyasi living in a forest. If he chants, O Gauranga, and becomes the devotee of Lord Chaitanya, then Narottam Das begs to have his association.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Divyanand Prabhu. So that's confirmation by our great Acharya Narottam Das Thakur. Very nice. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I know the Sunday class is a bit long. I hope it was not too technical. Kartik Chandra Prabhu, any realizations? Okay. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Go Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
what's up today. But I should let him know that this I just and no, well, that's a good question. I should assume I should get permission first. That's the correct way, isn't it? Thank you, Majesty. Thank you. Yes, yes, okay. Yeah, all right. That's the proper way, isn't it?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare.
Talking to me?
No, I just
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
됐어.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna, can I request you all to stay alive? Let's go, the boys, they got us to the breakfast.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hello?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hello?
Hare.
Testing,
Hare
testing.
Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna,
Harry
Krishna
Potter.
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Namo Vishnu Padaya prastaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashata Dashatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaste Narasingaya.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna. Let's wake ourselves up a little bit more than that. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Amazing. So thank you very much, and a warm welcome to all of you joining us in Krishna Club and the morning prayers. It's always amazing to see that the parents are here with the children, and of course, if you're here on time, that's even better. So thank you very much for those of you that made it on time today. And I was just reflecting actually on how important a community and a temple environment is for our children, and of course for ourselves as well. And I just wanted to share with you some thoughts. I was having some conversations I've been having with people this week as well, that what would our lives be if we didn't have some way to be able to connect to Krishna? What would it be if Srila Prabhupada never came to the West and established ISKCON? And I was looking at this, and I was looking at my life. I came into Krishna consciousness when I was at university. So many universities across the country have Krishna Consciousness Society. And through that, I made a connection. Through that, I was able to take some responsibility. Through that, my spiritual life really began. And through that, I am where I am today. And my life would be very different. It would be on a completely different trajectory if I hadn't met devotees and if I didn't receive the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And so I just wanted to share with you that actually having this community, having this temple environment, Srila Prabhupada always wanted a temple not just to be a place where you come, see Krishna, you may pray for some longings, some desires that you have, but actually it's a place of education. And as we see with Krishna Club, that we're educating the children so that tomorrow, when other people may question, now why is it that you do these things? Why is it in your culture, in your tradition, in your religion do you do these things? Then the children have that ability to answer those kind of questions. For example, one of the things that we do as part of Hinduism, as part of Vaishnavism, is that there will be certain days that we'll fast. Okay, anybody fast on certain days? Yeah, quite a few of you fast. So how confident are we that we know why we do these things? For example, let's say you're trying to pass these values and culture onto your children. These days, you will not be able to do anything or get them to do anything unless they buy